You eaten recently?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've not, and I'm hungry. So,
Dumb bitch.
I think after this, I might pull up see if Taco Bell is open.
Yeah, go do that. I'll head home and I'll be there waiting for you.
Sure. For some Resi Evil 7 for first time playing. Very exciting.
Well, second time technically.
First real time.
First real time, yeah.
I got hunger.
You should have eaten.
Dude, it's cold out.
It's cool. Are we?
Yeah, no, it's been going for like 40 seconds.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Well, it is cold out. now I can become more engaged in the conversation.
Yeah, it's cold.
One thing that was really cool while I was driving was that there's like a wind blowing, but since there's a bunch of snow on the ground, it's like wavy patterns are forming along the ground. They're not going up into the sky, so it's not like it's clouding your vision, but you're just like it's kind of like you're in Ghost of Tsushima and you're like guiding winds. Like, okay, that's where you go. It was pretty cool.
The guiding wind.
The guiding wind, yeah.
Of this like 2 inches of Texas snow.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's all you need in Texas to have cool.
2 inches?
Yeah.
What's poppin', players? Welcome back to the Two Penny Gamescast. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host, Connor Elliott. Say hi to the people, Connor.
Yo.
And we come to you with this show every week, Monday, 8 a.m., Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Google Podcasts. We're up there on the Google Pods.
Google.
Yeah. I gotta check probably in the next couple of days for the apples to come through. But the Google, we're there. Come, subscribe.
It took a while.
Hit the bell. Do all that. Rate us. Do all those things to help us get noticed. 5-star ratings only, though.
Yeah.
None of you fucking 3-star bitches.
Even if you've never watched this again, just give it 5 stars.
Just give us 5 stars.
No skin off your back.
Right.
But a lot of skin on ours.
A lot. Anyways, so the general gist of this show is every week, me and Connor come to you with the new news in the video game industry. We come to you with 2 topics each, 2 pennies, if you will, and give you our 2 cents on them this week. Connor, kind of crazy week. Kind of a crazy week.
More so than I thought.
Kind of a crazy week. So this week, I'm going to start with my first penny, because it is the beefiest penny, I think, of the bunch. CD Projekt Red has been hacked. They've been hacked, Connor.
They're taken hostage.
They've been taken hostage. So this was, there was like some rumors or something circulating, but then CD Projekt confirmed it on the 9th of February. This is from their Twitter account. Yesterday, we discovered that we have become victim of a targeted cyber attack due to which some of our internal systems have been compromised. An unidentified actor gained unauthorized access to our internal network, collected certain data belonging to CD Projekt Capital Group, and left a ransom note to the content of which we release to the public. Although some devices in our network have been encrypted, our backups remain intact. We have secured our IT infrastructure and began restoring the data. We will not give in to the demands nor negotiate with the actor, being aware that this may eventually lead to the release of the compromised data. We are taking necessary steps to mitigate the consequences of such a release, in particular by approaching any parties that may be affected due to the breach. We are still investigating the incident. However, at this time, we confirm that to the best of our knowledge, the compromised systems did not contain any personal data of our players or users of our services. We have already approached the relevant authorities, including law enforcement and the president of the Personal Data Protection Office, as well as IT forensic specialists. And we will closely cooperate with them in order to fully investigate this incident. And then they continue with another tweet. To our ex-employees, as of this moment, we don't possess evidence that any of your personal data was accessed. However, we still recommend caution, i.e. enabling fraud alerts. If you have any questions, please write to our privacy team, depot at cdprojectred.com. And then the ransom note, I'm going to go ahead and read off on that, says, and this was found in their notepad, so like it's in their files, so someone definitely broke in and took the shit and left. And the ransom note reads, "Hello, CD Projekt. You have been epically pwned. We have dumped full copies of the source codes from your Perforce server for Cyberpunk 2077, Witcher 3, Gwent, and the unreleased version of Witcher 3. We have also dumped all of your documents relating to accounting, administration, legal, HR, investor relations, and more. Also, we have encrypted all of your servers, but we understand that you most likely recover from backups. If we will not come to an agreement, then your source codes will be sold or leaked online, and your documents will be sent to our contacts in gaming journalism. Your public image will go down the shitter even more, and people will see how shitty your company functions. Investors will lose trust in your company, and the stock will dive even lower. You have 48 hours to contact us.
Epically pwned.
Pwned.
This is the kind of
all
group we're
kinds of
dealing
wrong.
with. Oh, God. I can imagine what these people look like.
I know, right? Anyways, and then a few days later, we had an update, Connor.
Mm-hmm.
So pulling from a IGN article by Joe Screbbles, stolen CD Projekt Red files reportedly now sold after dark web auction. Files stolen from the CD Projekt Red in a ransomware attack revealed earlier this week have reportedly now been sold in a dark web auction. Dark web monitoring organization Kila, which previously provided The Verge with what it believes to be legitimate file lists from CD Projekt Red's engine, reports that an auction setup to sell those files has now been closed after a satisfying order was made from outside of the forum it was being held on. That offer reportedly stipulates that the code will not be distributed or sold further. Cybersecurity account VX Underground also reported that it heard the sale was completed. Quote, just in, CD Projekt Red auction is closed. Hackers auctioned off stolen source code for the Red engine and CDPR games releases, and have just announced that a satisfying order from outside the forum was received with the condition of no further distribution or selling. Speaking to IGN, Victoria Kivlovich, a threat intelligence analyst at Kila, explained that it appears all of the files stolen, which apparently include source code for Cyberpunk 2077, multiple versions of The Witcher 3, and Gwent, were sold in a single package. It is unclear who the buyer is, or what they intend to do with the files at the time of writing. It is also unclear what price the files were sold for, but reports yesterday indicated an upfront purchase price of $7 million. Kivlovich provided IGN with a translated screenshot of a separate forum, XSS, dated February 10th, in which the purported seller, Red Engine, says CD Projekt should pay the Blitz, or upfront purchase fee, because of sensitive data contained in the files. Of course, right now we can't verify whether that is true. CD Projekt publicly said that it would not pay any ransom. So, Connor, this is rough.
Yeah, it successfully was stolen and sold, by the sounds of it.
This is rough. Now, things like source code, engine, all that matters very little.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, hackers can dive into just files of the game. The game can be pirated, or any of the games can be pirated. So all of that has probably already been delved through and found out, except for maybe this unreleased Witcher 3 stuff, which we probably would only get hints of in the Witcher 3 source code. So it's unfortunate that got out. But the real issue here is where is it? It is the HR stuff, the personal information of CDPR employees, any possible issues going on, that they're keeping under wraps. Not that it's like, oh, they're shoving shit under the rug. No, it's just this is stuff that needs to be private and should be private.
Yeah, it's not public information.
Yeah,
it's now public in a sense. I don't know who would spend $7 million on this kind of stuff. That's a pretty big buyer.
I think it's
mostly
mostly just to have it and just to be like, oh, I'm the
buyer,
whatever. But you can never really guarantee that they'll never release this again, or never release or sell that information again. I imagine just the selling of all of the game shit is just to prove, like, hey, we're selling it. Like, if you don't meet our demands, quote unquote, we're gonna sell it. Usually, it just leads to more. What is the word? More like demands and it wouldn't
just
instead of like
there,
a one-time payment. It's like okay, now you pay us $500,000 every month.
When they have you can never trust people like this when they have access to your information and they can give it and take it freely at this point. Like exactly. There's no
or they
no
may just release it anyway because fuck you.
Yeah. Now I know some people might say that the possibility is that they did pay a ransom for it. I don't think so, because they publicly did say that
I
they
believe
weren't
them
going
when
to.
they say they're not talking.
Yeah, a company like that wouldn't most likely have to pay for something like
Oh
that.
yeah,
No.
at that point you just kind of take you go, oh, fuck, that happened, shit, and you have to deal with it and talk to your teams and figure out the best course of action. So yeah, unfortunate that this happened. And just because it's the internet and it has to be said, we did not care for the state of release in which the Cyberpunk 2077 was. Mm-hmm. And we also had huge issues with the management team and how they handled the project as a whole.
Yes.
But that does not justify these actions. Mm-hmm. That doesn't, justify going out there and stealing people's personal data and punishing them for things that were really not in their control at all. So whoever did this, fuck you. To anybody who's saying, you get what you deserve, fuck you. Like, that's not what this is about.
It is really just a whole stupid thing, because this wouldn't have happened if Cyberpunk launched well, I don't think. Like, if it was released to positive reviews, I don't think it would have happened, because the way the message seems it's kind of framed is, you've been doing bad stuff, and this is you paying for it. Like, trying to put some kind of noble aspect to it, and they're using this as an excuse.
Maybe, but I'm not willing to give people like this the benefit of the doubt, like that. I feel like if they can make it happen, they're going to make it happen regardless. It doesn't matter about the outstanding circumstances of when it happens, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, who knows what's going through these guys' heads when they thought, well, let's just steal a bunch of information, much of it personal people's information.
Exactly.
And sell it for a big profit.
Just fucking gross.
Yeah, just scummy stuff.
Yeah. Anyways, Connor, moving on. And let's hope that, we catch these fuckers and, consequences are dealt with. Mm-hmm. But moving on to our second penny, your first penny of the day. Something interesting I wasn't expecting you to bring up on this show.
Oh, yeah?
Let's do it. The Last of Us TV show has the Joel and Ellie have been cast.
Yeah, I honestly kind of came as a surprise. I didn't expect it to be just in the news all of a sudden. But
well, I knew it would be a like a point, like it'd be like a news
eventually
part of the news cycle. It would be a beat, but
it just kind of came unexpectedly when it did. I was like, oh well, that's who's playing the character.
When is the show set to release?
Is it have a release date?
Yeah, all these studios and stuff. They always you got to have timelines.
Yeah. So didn't know they announced it. Though.
Anyways, pulling from an article from IGN by Adam Bankhurst, The Last of Us. Pedro Pascal cast as Joel in HBO series adaptation. The Mandalorian's Pedro Pascal has been cast as Joel in the upcoming HBO adaptation of The Last of Us, as reported by Deadline. Pascal will join Game of Thrones' Bella Ramsey, who is set to play Ellie. The Last of Us series is being led by Chernobyl creator, blah, 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 blah. This is all stuff that we know and we've covered before.
Yeah, Neil Druckmann's helping along.
Yeah, the real news here is Pedro and Bella Ramsey being cast as Joel and Ellie.
We could put faces to the people that are going to play the characters.
What
now? I haven't been watching The Mandalorian.
Yes,
I've seen Pedro Pascal in Kingsman 2, and I saw him in Game of Thrones. How do you feel about his performance? The choice to make him play Joel.
Well, the Mandalorian is a bad example of his talents.
It is.
One, because he's wearing a mask 95%
the
of the
mask
time.
probably limits it.
Two, because he doesn't have that much dialogue in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And what is there is pretty muted, but I think that's just kind of the character. Also, title character aside, it's the Baby Yoda show.
Mm-hmm.
So, fine, cool. Pedro, cool. I liked him in Game of Thrones. I haven't really seen him in anything else. People liked him in Wonder Woman, 1984.
Well, was he in there?
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, cool.
He seems like a good actor. So I think
Pedro's
he'd be
a good actor. Cool, neat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into it.
Yeah. Now
Bella Ramsey from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Now she was good in that.
She was good in that. So cool. Let's see how that translates to this.
I saw some complaints online. Not really with Pedro Pascal, more with Bella Ramsey, that
really?
She doesn't look like the person she's playing. And, when you have someone like Ellen Page, who notoriously was like, there was a whole issue when Last of Us was first released that she
notoriously like, hey, is that my likeness?
Yes. So now we've gone from that to, oh, this person doesn't look enough like them. Which, when it's a movie, when it's a TV series, it's going to be like, you want to get a young girl, pretty much as your baseline. If they look similar to the original character, good. But if not, really, that's the best you can hope for. Because Pedro Pascal also doesn't really look like Joel. I guess he kind of
does. If you slapped a full beard on him, he he looks quite a bit like Joel. But like,
he could pass off for him. But
I'm not really going to care about the accuracies of a CG character versus a real life actor.
Yeah.
Like,
even if those CG characters do look realistic,
that has nothing to do with how production of a TV show works. And the last thing they're going to care about is fucking face accuracy, like 1-to-1s. Like, no, like, one, this girl has been proven to be on sets and has, been in TV shows before. Two, she did a pretty good job while on those TV shows. And three, Game of Thrones actor Bella Ramsey looks good in a headline.
It does, yes. Very good. Her and Pedro Pascal just look... well, it was probably harder for a child actress because, they're harder to come by. Good ones, and ones that could be profitable. And she's one of those people. I'm more concerned with the show itself, so that really never crossed my mind about how much they look like their characters they're playing.
Casting has very little to do with quality.
Yeah.
In terms of, like...
Look. How they look.
And how they look and so forth. Like, I mean, it's a factor, like, you want family to look like each other, so you need good casting in that sense. But, like, we don't need that here. Like, okay, these are our leads. Cool. Everything else is going to be based around that in terms of casting, so we just move on from there.
Right.
So, not a whole lot to say. A lot of, like, wait and see how this whole project turns out. I'm hopeful. But,
unsure about being hopeful.
Well, I'm hopeful, but I'm cautious. You know how this goes.
Obviously, yeah.
I mean, if there's ever going to be a series to easily translate to the other, Last of Us is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So let's find out in time. But until then, Connor, let's talk about something now that's real interesting, at least to me. Moving into our third topic, my second penny of the day. I'm pulling an article from The Verge by Nick Stat. Epic's new MetaHuman tool lets you craft realistic faces inside a browser. Epic Games has announced a new browser-based software tool powered by its Unreal Engine called the MetaHuman Creator that can craft highly realistic human faces and help power more realistic body movements and facial animations. Epic provided a sneak peek at the platform today in a pair of YouTube videos showing off examples of creations built using the MetaHuman Creator, and MetaHuman appears to be the term the company is using to describe this brand of virtual, non-real individual. Epic says the MetaHuman Creator can be used in conjunction with modern motion capture and animation techniques for creating lifelike movements and human interaction scenes built for video games, film, TV, and other formats. The company says these photorealistic humans can be generated in a matter of minutes and equipped with unique hairstyles and clothing, and then they can be tailored further to meet the needs of a production. And these metahumans can be manipulated in real time within the tools itself and just using a web browser, Epic says. Quote, up until now, one of the most arduous tasks in 3D content creation has been constructing truly convincing digital humans. Even the most experienced artists require significant amounts of time, effort, and equipment just for one character, said Vladimir Mastilovic, Epic's vice president of digital human technology, in a statement. Quote, after decades of research and development, and thanks to bringing companies like 3Lateral, Cubic Motion, and Quixel into the Epic family, that barrier is being erased through Unreal Engine. And we're thrilled to introduce MetaHuman Creator. The humans created with Epic's new tool don't approach the photorealism of, say, the digitally rendered photographs of fake people produced by generative adversarial networks, which is the AI technique underpinning projects like This Person Does Not Exist. But as a kind of superchanged video game character creation tool, MetaHuman Creator does seem capable of making some shockingly realistic-looking people that could easily pass for a real-life motion-captured actor. Though, perhaps we'd need to wait to see what the tool is truly capable of in the hands of third-party creators before making a verdict on whether it escapes the uncanny valley. It's not clear when Epic intends to release MetaHuman Creator outside of a broad 2021 release window, but interested developers and artists can sign up for updates on the Unreal Engine website. Connor, did you watch either of the videos that are linked in this article?
No, I did not.
No.
I saw clips of it.
I did.
Videos.
And yeah, it looks like a really highly detailed 3D modeled person.
Yeah, the pictures seem to show that.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it like realistic. Like I'm not being fooled into thinking it's a real person.
Not going to fool any TV stations with this one.
You know, I play too many video games for that, Connor.
Yeah.
I know when there's an artificial person on screen, Connor. I'm a gamer.
Do you?
What?
Do you though? Can you always tell?
Always.
You won't be confused between non-reality and reality?
Never.
Okay.
Ever.
Well,
not once.
Besides your perceptive of what reality is or isn't, in terms of functionality, this seems like it would be mainly used for making, NPCs, is what my first thought was. Because, like, a constant thing I see with games that have lots of people in there is after a while you're like, oh, it's that character model. It's that character model. You see it a lot, and because it takes so much time and effort to put themselves to make just a simple background character that, depending on the game, might show up in large crowds and stuff like that. So I could see this being primarily used to make it to where there's more diversity in the crowds that you're seeing when you're traversing a city or a countryside or whatever, in whatever game you're playing. I don't know. Like they were saying, there's not really much they know about how far they can use this technology to implement it into the games themselves, but that's just something I thought they would do when I first saw this headline.
Perhaps, yeah. When in games, Unreal Engine is like the most popular game engine used in the industry, so we can see a direct correlation there. And just having it just in a web browser, the convenience of that, I'm sure, is unreal.
Yeah, fuck off.
But no pun really intended until I got there. But I'm also interested to see how this carries over into TV shows and film. Mandalorian, like we brought up, uses the Unreal Engine to do some of their CG characters and so forth. So maybe that it'll be just a super ease in order to, I don't know how easily all of this works or how much convenience this gives to artists, because I know nothing about that field.
No.
But is it like straight up just like, okay, this is the character I want to create, plug, play, and then the entire creator like applies lighting and all of these, or is it just animations and fidelity? Like what is going on here that they're doing that is cutting out all of this time?
Mm-hmm.
The creation of the character, yes, which is cool. Being able to create a whole character in minutes, badass. How does it apply to your motion capture? How does it apply to the animations you've crafted? How does it apply to the scenery in the scene that you're putting these characters into? How does light work off of it and all of that? How much is now being done by the artist? How much is being done by the system? All really cool and interesting stuff. I think this leads into, or this spawns off of a few weeks ago when we talked about Epic acquiring Rad and all the expanses that they were making back then, or the expanses that they were coming out with here. This seems to be just another step in their conquest to just be badass, like
Unreal Engine
and a badass engine. Yeah,
it really is just a beast of a machine. I mean, like it's using, like you said, the Mandalorian. Some of the biggest game developers use that to make their games.
I think it's because of the flexibility of the system.
Yeah.
If I understand right, the flexibility of the system, but like not sacrificing quality is how it all works. So this is really, really cool. And even like you can look at this video and like GIFs here, and I don't know if you can see it from where you're sitting.
Can.
But it's literally just looks like a video game character creator that they're just scrolling through options and applying different hairstyles and beards and wrinkles and all these different textures onto this character as they're also sculpting the face out. It's super fucking interesting.
And it looks good. Like you said, it's not going to fool you into thinking that that's an actual human being. But in a video game, if I saw that in a AAA game, I'd be like, yeah, it's a well-made NPC.
That's high fidelity there. But like, if we were to see it in like some of these still frames look great too.
Yeah.
Almost passable for real.
not really seeing a lot of the Uncanny Valley at play here. So that's
well,
good
I think,
news.
and this is just, and you never know how much work Epic did into these animations and into these videos
Yes.
prior, or how much is just, hey, this is just straight up what our MetaHuman engine creator did. I assume they let it create and then they sculpted it in order to give like the best performance, whatever. But then, like the article mentions, as soon as you give it off to like third parties, your 3D renderers, your what is it called? I am. What is that special effects studio? IML. I
don't know.
I hate you.
I don't know.
Anyways, why can't you just read my mind, Connor?
I can't.
When you give it off to these big studios and see what they do with it, what kind of product are we looking at coming out of there? All super interesting stuff. Connor,
my final penny.
Final penny of the day. Your final penny. I feel like we often end on you, but that's fine. We want to talk about the future, Connor. The future
of gaming.
Now, as some people might know, as many people might know, Jeff Bezos stepped down from CEO of Amazon.
Yes, he will be stepping down.
He will be stepping down.
A little bit to go, but he'll be out of the picture. Well, out of the CEO picture.
Yeah,
pretty soon.
And they're bringing in this guy, Andy Jassy. Am I saying that name right?
Andy Jassy, yes.
Jassy. So pulling from and Andy Jassy here, he's a gamer.
He is a gamer.
He's a gamer.
He sounds like he is.
Pulling from a Bloomberg article by Jason Schreier, Amazon's next CEO says he's committed to making video games. One day before he was named the next chief executive officer of Amazon.com Incorporated, Andy Jassy reaffirmed his commitment to making video games while acknowledging the stark challenges the team has faced, according to an email to staff reviewed by Bloomberg. Jassy expressed support for Mike Frazzini, the head of Amazon Game Studios, and the subject of a Bloomberg profile last week examining the troubles the company has faced in gaming. The story was based on interviews with more than 30 current or former Amazon employees. Both executives sent emails to their staff this week referencing the article, saying the accounts were exaggerated but recognizing that they had made mistakes. Quote, "Some businesses take off in the first year and others take many years," wrote Jassy. Currently, the head of Amazon's cloud computing division and Frazzini's boss, quote, "Though we haven't consistently succeeded yet in AGS, I believe we will if we hang in there." The pledge of support from Jassy takes on added importance now that Amazon has said he will succeed Jeff Bezos as CEO this summer. The company's entry into video game creation in 2012 was originally ordered by Bezos. 3 people who worked with the founder have said. Since then, Amazon has spent billions of dollars, released 2 big-budget games, both of which flopped, and canceled many other projects. Its struggles reflect broader issues big tech companies have discovered when trying to break into gaming. Connor, on the side, real quick, Google what these 2 Amazon
what? I was just doing
yeah,
that. Like,
yeah.
They made 2 games?
Yeah. On Monday,
New World and Crucible.
Crucible rings a bell.
It does.
I've never heard of New World in my life. Anyways, on Monday, Google said it was shutting down its games development studio. Quote, "Being successful right away is obviously less stressful, but when it takes longer, it's often sweeter," Jassy wrote in the email Monday. Quote, "I believe this team will get there if we stay focused on what matters most." An Amazon spokeswoman didn't immediately have a comment on the emails. Jassy's message came in response to an email Frazzini sent to his team. Frazzini addressed allegations reported by Bloomberg that the studios had cultivated a bro culture, alienated many women, and drove them out of the company. Quote, "We have zero tolerance for this type of behavior or anything less than a fully equitable and inclusive environment," Frazzini wrote. Frazzini had never made a video game before he was appointed head of Amazon Studios, and that lack of experience was a frequent complaint from current and former employees who spoke to Bloomberg. Quote, "We've learned and improved a lot along the way, myself included, and we will continue to do so," Frazzini wrote to his team. "Making great games is hard, and we're not going to get everything right." So, Connor, Amazon,
trying to push their gaming once again.
They're trying to get this gaming thing going. We talked, it was a few months ago now, about Amazon's launch streaming service. What was it? Luna was the name of it.
Yes.
I haven't heard much on it. I don't think it's officially launched yet.
It has not.
Okay.
I do not believe so. I'll check that as well.
Fact check me real quick on that. I do not recall it launching yet, but just that they've announced it and that they're building towards it. They've already put out 2 games, both of which flopped. Nobody cared. Nobody really heard of. What did they release on? Did they release on everything, or like some like Amazon specific thing?
To be quite honest, when I delved a little bit more into this. It seems like New World hasn't released yet. But so the other 2 games were like, from what I'm seeing, Crucible, the Grand Tour game, and Till Morning's Light are the games they made. Now it seems like they may not have published one. They published Till Morning's Light
on what?
On never. Oh, it's an Android game. So that's probably not what they were talking about, because they did make more games than 2 big budget games. But those seem to have flopped as well. Yeah.
Well, especially because we can't fucking find which 2 we're talking about.
No,
yeah. So this is interesting to me in a number of ways. Firstly, it's nice to see him say, "Hey, okay, so we haven't nailed it off the bat, but we're gonna keep going." That instills more confidence to me, the consumer, that they care more about their gaming branch than, say, Google does.
Mm-hmm.
Google, obviously, just last week we talked about how they're seemingly already shutting down Stadia after a year and a half or whatever of work. So it's nice to see them saying, "Hey, no, we're still in here. You know, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna get it right, and then we're gonna nail it eventually."
Mm-hmm.
Everybody likes a comeback story. I don't know if we like a comeback story from the biggest, company in the world.
Yeah.
But
you see, all of this news about them persisting with trying to create games, something that keeps nagging in my mind is, do we really want to give Amazon more leverage in another industry than they already do in general? I mean, they already have effectively seemingly a monopoly on just ordering things online and it arriving at your door. And it seems like them diving into the realm of video games might do something kind of similar, where they become, obviously they're small-time players, because they can't even, the games they made aren't even registering to us, and Luna hasn't released yet, which I looked, by the way. In terms of
creation, they're smaller, they're comparatively smaller potatoes. However, many people still use them as a realtor. Mm-hmm. So you're buying your consoles off of Amazon, you're buying your games off of Amazon, you're buying whatever you like your gaming accessories off of Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know I do. Definitely a lot of that. But moving forward with actually the creation of video games, it sounds good, considering they are such a big company in the end. They have the manpower and the potential to make good things. It just, out of all the companies, I don't want Amazon to really do that.
Sure, I guess.
Yeah.
There's an argument to be made there.
We've yet to see what they're actually going to do.
Let's wait and see, worse comes to worse, okay, another big gaming company added, does that mean one of the others drop out? Maybe not. We'll see how things pan out. Or does it just mean, okay, here's another avenue of competition, if you will, even though I don't believe in that whole competition breeds business mindset.
No, not really.
Just not. However, I find it hilarious that they've put a guy in charge who has no experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe he's trying to learn. Maybe he's not. We'll find out. More wait and see. The classic 2 pennies.
There's a theme going on.
MO, if you will,
for a while now. Yeah.
So, Connor, those are our pennies. Those are our topics. So now, let's go ahead and jump straight into what we've been playing. Connor,
yeah.
What have you been playing this week, my friend? You
once again,
well, you don't have a job, real job.
No.
You're out of school.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just sitting around the house.
Trying to find a job.
I imagine you're just fucking crushing these video games, man. You're killing that backlog.
Tavin.
You're just plugging away at all these big old games that you missed.
Tavin.
Yeah.
Going off of the topic of themes, the theme of themes, I think it's safe to say that from your perspective, I have wasted my video game potential these past couple weeks by playing games that I've already played, games that don't have an end, like Valorant, where I just constantly play it and have like a nice feedback of, I killed that guy.
Listen,
I feel good about myself.
You just have an answer for me this week of just, hey, I'm playing this game.
I am playing a game.
Okay.
A new game.
Okay. Oh, great.
And that game is none other than the brand new Dead Space. And now, keep in mind, I never played the original Dead Space.
Why are you playing Dead Space?
See, I knew what your reaction was going to be.
No, okay, continue. Let's talk about Dead Space.
I never played Dead Space before.
Horror classic.
Yes, classic.
Kept the franchise, or kept the genre alive, some would say, for a few years.
Yeah. I'm pretty far into it now. I know there's... what chapter am I at? I think I'm at chapter 8. There's 12 chapters in the game. Really...
Remind me where that is. Like, what have you done?
What was happening next? I just got to a new area.
Okay.
We were trying to fix the comm systems to come in contact with that ship that was going to possibly save us, but they ended up being boarded by a necromorph, and it didn't work. So we were on our way to fix a shuttle, to get a shuttle ready, and get something back at the drop ship that you arrived on. Your repair ship. That you arrived
so you
on.
doubled back to the ship you've arrived.
Yes, which is what I just was about to do that before I quit last night.
I think you're half-ish way.
Oh, I'm more than halfway.
More than half?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, 12 chapters. I'm on chapter 8, and
okay, but you haven't gone on that ship that got infected yet, have you?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
All right, some fuck shit's gonna go.
Okay.
Some fuck shit's going down on there.
Yeah, it's been a long. I know what happens in the game. It's just been a while since I've known what happens. But so far, my experience with the game has been very, very positive.
What are you playing on?
Playing on PC with a controller.
Okay.
And now, I had kind of looked around online. Apparently, the aiming isn't hard on controller, which it isn't. So using a mouse and keyboard's not really necessary, and it's a lot more compact. So I could just
Well, the game was built for consoles.
Yes. So people said the port on it isn't as good as the Dead Space 2 port. So people recommended using a controller.
Yeah.
Had no real problems on that front. The game was scary when it first started out. It makes sense knowing what's going to come next with Dead Space 2 taking a more action route to the game, because the horror elements of 1 kind of get old very quickly. When you get used to the enemies, when you realize, it's just, for the most part, it's going to be primarily relying on jump scares to get the goosebumps on my skin to pop up. So it hasn't been super effective in the horror department now that I'm a couple hours in. But one thing that I really do like is the atmosphere that's, developed to the game. That's really where they did a good job, because constantly, especially now that I have headphones.
What is it called? The USG Ishimura?
Ishimura, yeah.
Oh, dude, look
very,
at me nailing
it. Yeah, right on it.
A decade removed. Yeah. I'm still out here, baby.
Because it's designed very well. It's very compact in close quarters, which does, like, if it was wide open spaces, for the most part, it would not be even remotely scary, and nothing would have ever worked. But it's very close and compact.
Well, guess what you have in Dead Space 3?
Yes.
Wide open space.
Let's not talk about that.
Okay.
One thing that I really like, though, about the atmosphere is that, madness is a prevailing aspect of the Dead Space games. The marker, the giant monolith that's causing all the aliens to appear.
More in 2 than in 1, but yes.
Yeah. There's whispers constantly going on around you, and you can
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't know either. And then having headphones on, that's the creepy part. It's when you're just walking through these tight confined spaces and you hear it.
Yeah. The mic is not picking that up, by the way.
Oh, well, you're hearing whispers. You're hearing at one point, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star playing, like someone whispering that in the background. It's really effective when it has those moments and not relying on jump scares, surprisingly.
Yeah. When it's building the tension.
Yes.
It's very nice. Okay.
But beyond the atmosphere and how creepy it can be at times, and how creepy it can be sometimes.
Yeah.
The combat runs very, very smoothly. Once you said it's a decade old. Like, that's the last time you played it. That's how old it is.
Well, I actually revisited the first Dead Space, I want to say 2 years ago.
Oh, you did?
Maybe 3 now. And I didn't make it very far in because the opening hours to me were like so intrinsically like fried into my brain that I know pretty much where all the jumps are. So yeah, I was disappointed going back, being like, oh man, this really is not as scary as I remember it being.
No. And granted, you probably would have, like I said, it was scary at first.
Yeah.
As a new player, it goes away pretty quickly. So the whole game isn't even that
Well, I
scary.
feel like also context matters.
Yes.
Because we have an abundance of, not an abundance, but horror video games have had sort of a renaissance as of late, especially with Resident Evil. And the swelling of fandoms wanting a return of Silent Hill.
Yes.
And then with things like Outlast and Amnesia and
Alien
Isolation. Great pull. So we've really started to develop what really works for long-term scare tactics in video games, especially in current console perspectives, first person, third person, over the shoulder, all of that. Whereas before it was all fixed camera angles, so like all that, we kind of knew everything that was coming, and none of that's really scary anymore. So Dead Space lives in an era where Resident Evil takes a hard turn into action. The over-the-shoulder perspective, though inspired by Resident Evil 4, and Resident Evil 4 still has some scary moments, atmosphere is what is super prevalent in RE4. So, Dead Space, taking so many notes from Resident Evil 4, but committing to the scary tone and committing to the horror atmosphere, where Resident Evil 4 kind of lets go in the later half, I think benefited it greatly in the eyes of gamers at the time. Now, you can even if you don't know when the jump scare's coming, you can almost look at the scenery and be like, okay, that obviously something's going to pop out of that vent. And then you run up to it and you're like, yeah, something popped out the fucking vent. Okay,
in my experience, once it stopped being scary, part of it was because of that reason. I would walk into a room like, there's going to be a guy, it's going to fall from the ceiling. I don't remember that actually happening, but then it happens. Something akin to that. I'm like, oh, that's surprising. It does some good moments, like when one moment you're at the bench, the upgrade table that you were at, that you can access at different points.
You get attacked, don't you?
Yes. It's like, that happened. I was like, oh God, okay, that scared me. But,
Last of Us 2 has a moment like that.
It does, actually.
It does.
Yeah, that
moment scared the shit out of me.
Because I heard the run, like...
Yeah.
Running.
And then it's like, you fucker! And then you get hit in the back of the head. Oh my God, I ran out the room. I was so fucking scared.
Well, the game plays very well.
I'm glad to hear. Is it stiff? I remember when I revisited
really,
it feeling stiff.
The stomping stuff is very, very stiff.
I'm pretty sure they fixed that in 2.
Yeah, I remember it looks a lot better.
Yeah.
But
so my memories of the franchise is really, really, really enjoyed and even loved the first one, but 2 was my shit. Like,
oh yeah, I know. That's the only reason I'm playing Dead Space 1 right now is because I wanted to have some continuity going into Dead Space 2, and it was $5 on GOG, so I was like, screw it, might as well. The guns, which by the way, the guns are very unique because obviously it's not usual. Here's your submachine gun. Here's your shotgun. Here's your assault rifle. Here's your sniper rifle. Here's your
plasma
weapon
cutter.
Here's your plasma cutter.
Yeah,
here's the thing that ejects a saw and you can control it in the air.
Yeah, they're engineering tools.
Yes, they're engineering tools.
Well, some real weapons, but some
one
mostly,
so far. Yeah,
mostly they're like engineering tools where it's just like, oh, okay, this is what Isaac would use to fix the ship.
It's a very
he's using it to dismember,
weapon.
And also just the gimmick of, again, to put this game in context, like, that was like heavy bro shooter era, like that. Like you're looking at Modern Warfare 1, like. Get your body shots, get your headshots, get, your accuracy matters. So just to have the gimmick of, the enemies don't die if you shoot them in the chest.
No.
Like,
limbs. Get the limbs.
Get the limbs.
Yeah.
Like, even Resident Evil goes off of the thing of like, okay, yeah, the head is the most important bit, and then from there just hit him in the body. With some flexibility in some other things you can do in that game. But, to actively be like, okay, let me hit the leg, so he falls down. Then I hit the arm, so then he's just kind of crawling at me.
Yeah.
And then I, hit the other arm to kill him.
And that makes some really interesting moments when you're having, like, swarms of enemies coming at you. Because in most games, it's like, okay, this enemy is charging at me. Before anything else, I need to kill him and then move on to the next one. In this one, I'm like, okay, I'm going to stasis him. Or more likely, I'm going to shoot off his legs and say, okay, I can wait and hold up for him.
Yeah,
let me deal with the fat
yourself
guy
time so that you can constantly like fix. Yeah.
And even though the shooting is fun and it's like I said, it's not clunky, it's not outdated, but those gameplay choices on the behalf of the developers are really what makes those moments really good. Because the shooting isn't, the most satisfying thing ever. But
I imagine it's what keeps Dead Space unique.
It is because the limb shooting, as you were talking about, and the way that you plan out these combat scenarios by debilitating enemies before actually killing them to deal with more, dangerous threats. It's very, very fun, and I have not gotten bored yet. I'm excited to jump into Dead Space 2 because I know that aspect of it gets refined because it becomes a more action-oriented game and it starts focusing less on those jump scares that have by this point, kind of fallen flat with me. So
I'm excited to see.
Great game.
I'm excited to see your little adventure here continue.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play Dead Space 3.
There's a couple of don't waste your time.
No.
Unless you want to play with me, it might be fun with a friend.
It could be. Dead Space 3 play party? It's not going to be like Resident Evil 5, but maybe it'll be fun.
No, it won't be like Resident Evil 5, Connor. So, that's all you've been playing this week? Some Dead Space?
That and Valorant.
All right. So, I toyed around a little bit with Valorant last night.
Yeah.
It's more Valorant.
Saw you on there.
I've been playing some Apex Legends this week. Season 8, kind of exploring all these new changes that they've done. They've changed, one of the things they've added, I guess you could say, is you don't drop in empty-handed, at least in the casual modes. You don't drop in empty-handed anymore. In competitive, you do your clear inventory, but in the casual play, you drop in full suit of level 1 armor, level 1 backpack, level 1 knockdown shield, all that, a couple of health packs, a couple of shield cells, and a weapon. Now, so far, every match I played, I've only dropped with Mozambiques. So, not really a weapon, but, you're not like flailing your fist at the back of an enemy's head. You're like hitting him in the back with an actual gun, even though it takes forever to kill someone with a Mozambique. But, so just like an interesting little thing that they're toying with to like, switch it up. It's neat.
It doesn't sound as good as the original way to play it, where you don't drop in with anything.
I like dropping with nothing more.
Yeah, that sounds way more appealing than having.
But I do also appreciate dropping with a shield, especially with that system that they've integrated, where the more damage you do, the better your shield gets. So if you do 200 damage, then your shield gets an upgrade. And now you have a level 2 shield. So I like just being able to just drop and have that. Granted, level 1 shields were so, they were everywhere. So like it wasn't like really a big deal to find a level 1 shield.
No.
But to just drop and have one is nice. It's nice to have that security. It's nice to have the security of the healing items, you know.
Now, you've been playing that. Are you going to play it much longer? Or have you already moved on by now?
No, I'll probably play some more.
Back to the competitive.
Oh, the competitive stuff?
Yes. You toyed with the more casual play.
Yeah.
Are you going to stick with that for a little bit longer, or are you going to just go back to what you were doing?
I'm going to bounce back and forth.
Okay.
I'm going to bounce back and forth. It changed. Because competitive, you only do the trios, and sometimes I just want to do a duo. I want to do a duo match.
Is duos only... So is casual and competitive split up based off duos and trios?
No, you can do casual trios.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But competitive is only trios.
Okay. So, yeah.
Other than that, I have been continuing Persona 5 Royal. Finally got into the Royal content. Finally, after nearly 200 hours of gameplay, because I fucked up my first playthrough. And let me tell you what, with my first playthrough, I had gotten to the Casino Palace. And I had texted you. I said, hey man, this game is pulling a lot of influences from Final Fantasy VII, funny enough. And you said, oh really? I said, yeah, they're using these story beats and these mechanics in a way that they're basically ripped straight out of Final Fantasy VII.
But that means the remake? The original?
No, the original.
Okay, that makes way more sense, yeah.
Connor, about 15 minutes into the new content, a story beat happens. It is straight up Final Fantasy VII.
Really? Is your main character like injected with Genova clones or something? Genova cells?
Yeah, actually, the main character gets raped by a mutant dog.
Final Fantasy
that happens in Final Fantasy. Well, they try to make it happen in Final Fantasy VII.
When?
Red 13. When that character is introduced,
rape?
Shinra tries to make Red 13 rape Aerith.
Oh,
he like plays along with it, but only to like I don't know. He's like playing along with it, and then he switches sides immediately. It's very weird. It's a very weird thing that they chose to do. I don't know why they did it. It's not in remake. It doesn't happen in remake.
That's good.
It's very specific. They do not show it in remake.
Instead, they talk about having Aerith have sex with a soldier of some kind.
No, when they say that, they mean Red 13.
In the original.
In the remake.
Really?
Yes, they mean Red 13. They just don't show it. In the original game, there is a scene where like Aerith cowers and Red 13 like gets ready to pounce, and then the party crashes in, frees them both, and then he goes, "Oh yeah, I was just playing. I wasn't really going to do anything."
Oh, I was just joking. I wasn't gonna. No, I was not.
Yeah. So
who knows what Red 13 was really playing at?
Persona 5 Royal. The Royal content? Straight up Final Fantasy 7.
Ooh, I'll find out.
As soon as you get there, you'll be like, oh, okay.
My first
so
thought,
blatantly Final Fantasy 7. So blatant.
My first thought is Morgana and on.
So, other than Persona 5 Royal.
I got it. I know it. I'm right.
Other than Persona 5 Royal.
Right.
Other than Persona 5 Royal, I have been continuing my adventure over on twitch.tv/2pennygames.
Plug.
Hype. Have you ever played? Remember, Tuesdays, 1 p.m. Central Time to probably about 9, maybe 10 o'clock Central. Me and our friend Phil show each other games that one of us loves and the other one has never played before. And currently, we are working our way through the first Kingdom Hearts game. And if you listened last week, you know I'm super mixed. I'm continued to be mixed. However, this last week went a lot smoother than the first week.
Good.
Yeah. We should be finishing it up this Tuesday. Probably take us 2-3 hours. And then we're gonna jump straight into Metal Gear Solid 2 for Phil. Phil will be playing Metal Gear Solid 2. So catch us early in the stream. We'll be playing Kingdom Hearts. Catch us a little later. We'll be playing Metal Gear again.
Much shorter game than Kingdom Hearts.
Metal Gear? Yes. Yes. So
it's a long game, Bill.
Yeah.
It's a long game.
It's a long one. It's a long one. So, yeah. I'm gonna save, full blown details probably for next week when Phil comes back on and we review it in its entirety. But until then, everybody, that is it for your 2 Penny Games cast. Remember, you can catch us Monday, 8 a.m. Central Time, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and we'll continue to add more and more as we continue. But for now, have a good week, and Connor, say bye to the people.
Say bye to the people, Connor.